Hello everybody, welcome to Sustainable Hydroponic and Organic Garden Supply. My name is Jeff, I'm your gardening coach, and this is Gardening Coach Presents. Today we're going to be talking about bloom nutrients, micronutrients, secondary nutrients, and the additives we can use to ensure that we have a huge yield as well as abundance of flavor in our fruits and vegetables. Stay tuned. Hi guys, welcome to Sustainable Hydroponic and Organic Garden Supply. My name is Jeff, and I'm your gardening coach. Today we're going to be talking about bloom nutrients, the micronutrients, and some of the secondary nutrients that go along with the feed schedule of a flowering plant. So let's get right into it. Generally, last week we talked about the bases that we have with the nutrient schedules, like this one in particular, Roots Organic. They have a grow and they have a bloom. These are basically your bases for this line. We talk about micronutrients and what they do as far as how the plant absorbs these nutrients in the flowering, or the veg in the base, or the flower. We basically are talking about nutrients that will help transport these main plant food ingredients to the plant leaves for photosynthesis to start to occur. In order for photosynthesis to occur, we need to create chlorophyll within the plant, and in order for that to happen, we kind of have to have a very kind of balanced ratio of nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, and then some of, again, the micronutrients that go along with that. Iron, zinc, calcium, magnesium. Some of these are very crucial in making sure that the plant can uptake and transport the nitrogen where it needs to go so that it continue to grow. One of the best examples I have for bloom and micronutrients as well as additives is advanced nutrients. Again, when we're going back to bases, they have a mini line as far as what base do you want to use. The connoisseur is a really popular one. It allows you to dial in your plant a little bit more. You can be a little more experimental with the additives. We've got just a basic pH perfect 2-part. We've got the iguana juice, which is an organic base. The Cincy Grow and Cincy Bloom, which is another 2-part base. And then this is a cocoa version, and then we obviously have that in the non-cocoa version. So in order for these to be able to, they'll work great on their own, but in order to really provide what the plant needs to its optimum potential, we're going to need a few additives. CalMag is generally an additive that you can skip unless you're using reverse osmosis water or triple filtered or quadruple filtered water, just in the sense that now you're starting to pull certain minerals that come out of your tap water or even your well or irrigation. So if you're using reverse osmosis water, in that sense, we're starting from a clean slate. We're going to absolutely need to add some calcium and magnesium to the plant, because that's going to be really important to help these be able to do their jobs. The next one I really want to talk about is Rhino Skin. Rhino Skin is basically a silica supplement. Again, it doesn't have to be advanced nutrients Rhino Skin to be able to get that silica supplement. We really just want to have the silica. And if you come on down with me, I'll highlight one. Green Planet makes one that's really popular. It's actually not as strong or as concentrated as advanced nutrients, but I like that because it makes it easier to monitor EC and ppm, as well as make sure your plant's getting the cell structure, or the nutrients that it needs to develop the cell structure that it needs. Plant Guard does a really good job. This is just a potassium silicate, so you're going to notice that the number on here is 003. The 3 is because it's a potassium silica supplement, but it's mostly silicate. So we do look at the amount of potassium there, but it's really not as relevant as we would think when we start talking what is actually going to the plant. The potassium really just makes the silica available to it so that it's what we call plant ready. You can get this in powdered form. I'm really excited because we're getting ready to carry a line that is as pure as you can possibly be as far as silica goes. And it is coming straight from the earth without any liquid or chelating agents, so we can amend that right into our soil and allow it to break down from the beginning and provide the cell structure that our plants need to be able to hold a really big, healthy harvest. So silica is just crucial in resilience. So it's going to help with temperature fluctuations. You know, if you're in an area like Grand Junction, you're going to see 105-degree days, you're going to see 60, 70-degree nights, and the plant has to go through that change just like we do. The silica will help it go through that. It'll help it be able to withstand higher temperatures and cooler temperatures, as well as be able to form a thicker cell structure to keep bugs from wanting to feed on it. If you've got a really thick skin, it's much more difficult for something to bite through it versus something that's very thin. So that again is what the silica is going to help with, as far as developing that thicker skin, let's say, and keeping plants more resilient to, again, temperatures and insects. Good?
Yeah.
We'll move a little bit down the line. I'm going to skip over the piranha, the voodoo juice, and the tarantula, just because that's more for an organic line. We're going to come down to we're going to talk the bud igniter. This is going to be something that's going to help you produce blossoms a lot faster, which is going to ensure that pollination starts happening so that you can actually get more fruit per square foot on your plant, whether it's tomatoes or peppers or anything else that actually blossoms out. Again, we're going to move on down the line. Some of these can be a little bit misleading, but the bud candy is really good for a carbohydrate mix. It really does start to develop the terpenes and the flavonoids inside the plant. So your tomatoes will be sweeter, your peppers will be hotter. Even something as far as small fruit-bearing trees, you're going to notice a lot higher sugar content inside of there, which is going to increase the flavor. We're good. We're going to move down. This is big bud. This is basically going to make sure that your flowers blossom large so that we can really produce larger fruits. They have to all start off somewhere, and a lot of the time that size is very related to what your end product is going to be. So we want to add some type of supplement that's going to help build that up. As we move down, we've got flushing agents. This is going to help at the very end. This is going to help wash all of the salts that we just put into our media. We want to clear that out to make sure that our plant doesn't contain any residual chemicals that we may have used that are not organic. That basically covers, you know, the advanced nutrients line. Again, we don't necessarily use all of these, but we can absolutely take from this as far as learning how every other line works. If we move down to the Roots Organic, this is a much organic base. Again, this is a grow and a bloom. And then we've got a few additives that go along. The Trinity, this one is really good in just developing plant resilience. It's going to help with being able to stack cell structure so that it is a lot more compact, in the sense that now we can create way more flowering sites. You obviously have a CalMag supplement, which is going to be your calcium magnesium if you're starting to supplement with reverse osmosis. And then we move down HP2, HP, those are kind of bloom boosters. Those are going to be really similar to the Big Bud and the Bud Candy, the flower, the Bud Igniter from Advanced Nutrients. So we all of these lines have this similarity in the sense that they use a base and they use a secondary and a micronutrients. And a lot of the times the reason they have to do this in a bottle is if they were to combine all of this in one, you would start to have nutrients that lock out from each other. Once those nutrients lock out, they're no longer available to the plant, and it just becomes extra salts that sit in there. So they have to be able to separate them and keep them separated until you're ready to feed the plant by mixing it in water first. When we start talking about powdered amendments, a lot of the times, because these have to break down in the soil, they will come with all of the secondary and micronutrients added into there, and they start to break down on their, again, like we talked last, like a time capsule. They're going to start to break down on their own, becoming available. Now, the problem with that is we really can't, as we move along, we really can't supplement more. If we say, oh, I want to add more sulfur, or I need to add more zinc to my soil for my plants to be able to be uptaking. We necessarily can't do that in its raw form because we're going to really struggle with the breakdown process and the time that takes. So that's where a lot of these come into handy on kind of a hybrid level, where we can really supplement just what the plant needs through a small amount of synthetics or a small amount of like what we call chelated nutrients that are basically plant ready. And that's a lot of what you see, the bees, like the 52, the rhino skin. You know, we can move all over and talk about what's in these bottles. We have to talk about, are they plant ready or have they broken down yet? And we really, really do need to focus on the micronutrients and secondary nutrients, because our primary nutrients can only go so far with the plant without the rest. Hi guys, thanks for attending Gardening Coach Presents. Stay tuned next week. We're going to be talking about pH and ppm or EC. We need to figure out what the difference between these things are and the similarities as well, and what they're actually doing for our plant when we monitor them. Stay tuned. Next week's pH and EC.